Have you ever wondered about the risks of eating raw or undercooked meat? This question may seem a little out of the blue, but it's a topic that's worth digging into, especially considering the popularity of certain dishes that feature raw or undercooked meats. Steak tartare, sushi, and rare steak are just a few examples that come to mind. These dishes are savored by many around the globe, and they've become staples in the culinary world. But behind the mouth-watering allure of these delicacies, there lies a hidden reality that we often tend to overlook: the potential dangers associated with consuming raw or undercooked meats. You see, while raw and undercooked meats can be a foodie's delight, they can also be a breeding ground for harmful bacteria and parasites. These invisible threats can cause foodborne illnesses, some of which can be quite serious. Take steak tartare, for instance. This dish is typically made from raw ground beef or horse meat. While it's a gourmet favorite, it can also harbor bacteria like E. coli or salmonella, particularly if it's not prepared with the utmost care. Then there's sushi, replete with raw fish and sometimes even raw shellfish. Sushi can harbor parasites like tapeworms and roundworms. These parasites, if ingested, can cause a myriad of health problems, from digestive issues to more severe conditions. And let's not forget the beloved rare steak. While many enjoy the tender, juicy center of a rare steak, it's important to remember that undercooking meat can leave harmful bacteria intact, posing potential health risks. As appetizing as these dishes might sound, they come with their share of risks. This doesn't mean you should swear off your favorite raw or undercooked dishes altogether, but it does underscore the importance of being aware of the potential dangers and knowing how to minimize these risks. We'll be delving deeper into this topic in the following scenes, so stick around for more uncooked truths about raw meat. What exactly are these dangers, you may ask? Well, let's delve into the invisible threats that lurk in the shadows of raw or undercooked meats. First up, we have foodborne illnesses. These are diseases, usually either infectious or toxic in nature, caused by agents that enter the body through the ingestion of food. Every year, millions of people fall sick due to foodborne illnesses, and raw or undercooked meat is a common culprit. Next, we have bacteria, tiny one-celled creatures that get nutrients from their environments to live. Not all bacteria are harmful, but some definitely are. Take salmonella, for instance. It's a bacterium that can cause a serious and sometimes life-threatening infection, especially in people with weakened immune systems. Salmonella bacteria is often found in raw or undercooked meat, poultry, eggs, and egg products. Then we have E. coli, another type of bacteria. Most strains of E. coli are harmless, but some can make you very sick, causing severe stomach cramps, diarrhea, and vomiting. Undercooked or raw ground beef and raw milk are among the most common sources of E. coli. Lastly, let's talk about parasites. These are organisms that live on or in a host organism and get their food from or at the expense of their host. One common parasite found in raw or undercooked meat is trichinella, which causes a disease called trichinosis. Symptoms include nausea, heartburn, dyspepsia, diarrhea, headache, fever, chills, cough, eye swelling, aching joints and muscle pains, itchy skin, diarrhea, or constipation. These invisible threats can cause serious health problems and in some cases can even be fatal. But don't worry, in the next scene we'll explore the symptoms to watch out for, and later we'll discuss safety measures in handling and cooking meat. So stay tuned, there's a lot more to learn about the hidden dangers of raw or undercooked meats. How can you tell if you've been infected by one of these pathogens? Well, foodborne illnesses often display a variety of symptoms, and knowing what to watch for can be crucial in seeking timely treatment. Common symptoms of foodborne illnesses typically begin with discomfort in the digestive tract. This can include nausea, a sensation of feeling unwell in the stomach, often the precursor to vomiting. Vomiting is another common symptom, a violent expulsion of stomach contents through the mouth. Diarrhea, or loose watery stools 3 or more times a day, can also occur. These symptoms are the body's way of trying to expel the harmful pathogens. Stomach cramps or abdominal pain is another sign to watch out for. This is usually a sharp, intermittent pain that may be localized to one area of the stomach or felt throughout the abdomen. Fever can also accompany these symptoms. A fever is essentially a rise in body temperature above the normal range, and it's your body's natural defense mechanism against infection. You might also experience chills, headache, and muscle aches. Now you may be wondering about the timeline of these symptoms. The incubation period, or the time between eating the contaminated food and the onset of symptoms, can vary widely. It can be as short as a few hours or as long as several days, depending on the specific pathogen involved. In some cases, symptoms may not appear until several weeks after exposure. It's also important to note that the severity of symptoms can vary from person to person. Some people might experience mild symptoms, while others might become severely ill. Factors such as the type of pathogen, amount ingested, and the individual's health status can all influence the severity of the illness. If you experience any of these symptoms after eating raw or undercooked meat, it's essential to seek medical attention immediately. Early identification and treatment can significantly improve the outcome and prevent complications. Don't take chances with your health. If in doubt, reach out to a healthcare professional. So how can we enjoy our meat dishes without putting our health at risk? Let's start with the basics. Cleanliness. Washing our hands for at least 20 seconds before and after handling meat is crucial. Not only does this keep harmful bacteria from spreading, but it also ensures that our food is as safe as possible. Similarly, all surfaces and utensils that come into contact with raw meat should be thoroughly cleaned. This includes cutting boards, knives, and countertops. Now let's talk about cross-contamination. This happens when bacteria from one food item is transferred to another. To avoid this, always use separate cutting boards and utensils for raw meat and other foods. And remember, never place cooked meat back on the same plate or surface that held it when it was raw. Cooking meat to the correct internal temperature is another essential step. Using a food thermometer is the most accurate way to ensure that your meat is cooked thoroughly. For instance, poultry should be cooked to an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit, while steaks and roasts should reach a minimum of 145 degrees Fahrenheit. But what about leftovers? We all love a good leftover meal, but safety comes first. Leftovers should be promptly refrigerated within 2 hours of cooking, and when reheating, they should reach an internal temperature of at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And there you have it. Cleanliness, avoiding cross-contamination, cooking meat to the correct temperature, and properly handling leftovers are all crucial steps to ensure that our meat dishes are not just delicious, but safe to eat as well. Remember, these are not just suggestions, but necessary precautions to keep you and your loved ones safe from foodborne illnesses. So, the next time you're preparing a meaty feast, keep these safety measures in mind. Following these safety measures can significantly reduce the risk of foodborne illness. Let's quickly recap what we've learned today. We've taken a deep dive into the uncooked truths about raw meat. We all appreciate a good steak or a juicy burger, but when these delights are undercooked or raw, they can pose significant health risks. These risks stem from the potential presence of harmful bacteria and parasites, which can lead to foodborne illnesses. We've shed light on the hidden dangers lurking within raw or undercooked meats, from salmonella to E. coli. These invisible enemies can cause severe discomfort and illness. And let's not forget about parasites like trichinella and toxoplasma, which can lead to serious health conditions if left untreated. Our discussion also touched on the symptoms to watch out for: abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, among others. These symptoms might seem common, but they could indicate a foodborne illness that requires immediate attention. We also emphasized that these symptoms might not appear immediately after consumption. It could take anywhere from a few hours to several days. We've also explored the importance of safety measures in handling and cooking meat, washing hands and surfaces thoroughly, keeping raw and cooked foods separate to avoid cross-contamination, and cooking meat to the right temperature are all crucial steps in ensuring your meal is safe to consume. Using a food thermometer can help you ensure that your meat is cooked to the recommended internal temperature, killing off any potential harmful bacteria. And finally, we've looked at the role of public health organizations and food establishments in ensuring meat safety. Their stringent guidelines and inspections are essential in reducing the risk of foodborne illnesses from raw and undercooked meats. To sum it up, consuming raw or undercooked meats can pose significant health risks. But with proper handling, cooking, and a bit of knowledge about potential dangers, we can safely enjoy our favorite meat dishes. Remember, it's always better to be safe than sorry when it comes to consuming raw or undercooked meats. Thank you for tuning in and stay safe.